Okay, this is actually my second time filming this video, so yay. Whoa, I thought I broke my camera. Okay, hi YouTube, my name is Danielle and welcome to my channel. I like to talk about books and I like to read a bunch of books, so this is going to be my April reading wrap up. So let's talk about all the books I read in April. So I'm just going to start off strong, which I think this is my highest rated book for the month, and that is A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Jesus, I butchered that name. This is the second book in the From Blood and Ash series by her, and it is a new adult fantasy romance series. If you like ACOTAR, if you just like fantasy romance, I would suggest this series, especially like if you're kind of like new to fantasy, because I don't think this series has like a very strong like fantasy element. I think that's why a lot of people hate it, but I mean, I think they're just fun, so I liked it. The first book was kind of like okay, but I thought this one was like way better. Just to give like a little recap about what the series is about as a whole, because I can't really talk about this book since that would just be spoiling the first book entirely. But this series follows Poppy, and she is a maiden. Like, I can't really tell you what anything means because I don't even know what anything means. And she meets Hulk, and he becomes her guard to like protect her, and you know, little romance blossoms and things happen, and there's a lot more to it. But this was the second book, and can't really say anything about it, but I gave it 4.5 stars. I had a good time. It was very entertaining, and a lot more happened than the first book. That's what I really liked. And then the next book I read was a book on my Kindle called Sweet Temptation by Cora Riley, and all her books are just like mafia books. So this one is kind of in between like her main big mafia universe. You kind of can read it whenever, but it's an age gap, arranged marriage trope, and also like single dad trope. It's just a lot, but it's not much happening. It's just like kind of the same order of her other books. Like, it's an arranged marriage, they get together, whatever. Like, not much happens. It's like a really short book, and I think it's a good like palate cleanser, or just like you read it when you're in a slump. But I gave it 3.5 stars, so it was decent. And then the next book I read, this one is crazy. It was Gravity by Sarah Kate. This one was kind of different than her other books I read by her. I gave this book 3 stars. It was kind of a lot, and all I can say is that it was like Credence 2.0. And if you haven't read Credence, just read it. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything else. I'm gonna say just read it, but all I'm gonna say is there's a lot of weird stuff going on in this book. It's her dead sister's boyfriend's brother and his dad. So little 3 thing going on, and that's all I'm gonna say. Just, you know, just read for yourself, find out for yourself. Just, you know, just read for yourself, find out for yourself. So then I read Take Me With You by, I think the author's name is Nina B. Jones, I'm pretty sure. But this book is a very dark romance. It's a captor-captive, like Stockholm Syndrome thing. It's very dark. The main guy, he is pretty messed up. There's a lot of things wrong with him, but I mean, you'll read the book and you'll find out. And basically, he just likes to terrorize couples. Like, he goes to their homes and he terrorizes them, and don't really want to explain more to it because it is pretty dark. But he's not a serial killer, which is the weird thing. Like, you read a lot about serial killers in dark books. He's not a serial killer, but he's kind of worse in an aspect. And the main girl, she has her own thing going on. She has a fiance, she has a little brother, but like, she always like fantasizes about like this pair of eyes watching her. She doesn't know that it's this dude, but she's just like fantasizing about a pair of eyes watching her and taking her away. And things happen. He breaks into her home, is about to terrorize her and her fiance, and she just wants to prevent the situation from going like really bad. So she's like, hey, take me with you. And it goes on from there. He takes her with him, and he, you know, captures her. So this book was kind of hard for me to rate. I didn't rate it because what was lacking for me was that I just didn't feel like they ever fell in love. Like, to me, by the end, I wasn't convinced that they were in love with each other. I just wasn't convinced. And I don't know, like, I don't know, a lot of people love this book. They're like, they love this book. But also, the main guy, I forgot his name, but he's just so, like, the things he says in his POV is, like, so psychological and just, like, insane. Like, you're kind of like, whoa, this dude is crazy. Just, like, in a weird way, like, an uncomfortable way. So, I mean, if you're into that stuff, I say give it a go, but it was, like, okay to me. So then I read 2 books by Lilith Vincent. These are mafia books, and it's First Comes Blood and Second Comes War. I think I gave them both like 3.75 stars on that range. They're very fun, very quick. It's a reverse harem. It's mafia, it's age gap. The main girl, like on her 17th birthday, like her father like promises her hand in engagement, and it's like between these 4 like mafia dudes that kind of like, they're like pretty in charge of things in the city. And basically by the end of her 17th birthday, by the end of that night, he's like, you're gonna be promised to one of these men, and basically like you have 1 more year and then you're gonna get married to one of them. And chaos ensues. It's a lot of drama. I didn't even read the 3rd book. It's a trilogy. I didn't read the 3rd book because I kind of didn't care by the end of the 2nd one. But they're really fun. I think if you're into reading something, it's like really easy to pick up. And her books kind of are just chaos. Like, to me, they're like Wattpad on crack. The next book I read was kind of a letdown because it was one of my anticipated releases. But I read Devious Obsession. This is the 2nd book following Brutal Obsession, which is a dark bully college hockey romance. That was a lot. And it's the same for this one. It's another member on the team. And it's another dark bully college hockey romance. And first of all, this hockey team needs to be suspended because why are there that many psychopaths on the team? But we're not even gonna talk about that. My issue with this book, I gave it 3 stars, by the way, which is not a bad rating. I would have given it lower if I just kind of like the way this author writes. Like, she keeps you pretty captured, which is why I love the 1st book so much. But what I hated about this book, what made it such a letdown, is that it was basically carbon copy of the same book. It was the exact same. Like, the 3rd act breakup, the conflicts, like everything was the same besides like the main premise. Like, the 1st one was kind of like a revenge plot thing. Like, they were complete enemies. This one, they were like step siblings, so they knew each other in the beginning, and like they kind of had like a one-night stand. So like there was like more history with them, but like it still was the same. Like, they still did the same things. It still was this bully romance for no reason. Like, one thing I hate about a bully romance is when they're bullying the person for no reason. Stupid. But it was entertaining. These books are pretty long though, so I will give you that. If it's pretty long. And then I went on a Sarah Kate binge. And first, I read Eyes on Me, and I gave this book 4.4 stars. That's pretty specific, but I mean, this one was decent. It was like had voyeurism. It was step sibling trope again. I don't know what's up with romance authors and their obsession with step siblings. I don't know. Someone figure it out because I don't know. And she was like a cam girl. I don't know. The thing about these books, is there really a plot? No. Are they fun? Yeah, and they're pretty quick. So, I mean, they're decent. Mercy, I already read, gave me more, so I went to Mercy. I gave that book 4.25 stars. This one was a reverse age gap. It was like dom sub, a reverse. So the guy was the sub and the girl was the dom. And that was that. It was pretty good as well. It was better than I expected it to be. So yeah. And then lastly, I read Highest Bidder. And this one was a age gap as well. But the main guy was the older one, obviously, by the cover. He was like in his 50s, I think. This one was a really big age gap, like the biggest one I've ever read. I think she was 21, I'm pretty sure, and he was like 56 or something like that. Like 55, 56, I don't know. He was old, like silver hair old. Like, he was old, and she was like really, really young. So realistically, do I think they would have ended up together in real life? No, but it's a book, so I don't take any of that seriously. So it was decent. I read a monster romance, interesting enough. I read A Soul to Keep. I gave this book 4.25 stars, which is pretty high. I actually really enjoyed this one. It just wasn't a lot going on, like wasn't too much going on. I feel like this was that, like, this village, they like sacrifice these girls. They don't sacrifice them, like they go with this monster because he like takes a girl from the village and then he protects the village, and it happens every so often. He's like trying to find his bride. This girl, they're like, yo, you're a bad omen for this village, and they're like, yo, go to this monster, take her life, you know, get her out of our sight. So that happens. She goes with dude. She's not even scared of him because she just don't care. So she's not scared. And he's like, yo, I'm gonna actually find someone to be my wife. And it basically just shows you they're like living their everyday lives and they like fall in love or whatever. And it's like, that's it. So I mean, it was decent. If you like monster romances, give it a shot. I thought it was pretty good, and I kind of just read it on a whim. So I really liked it. And then next, I read some Sophie Lark books. I didn't really read them like back to back in this order, but I just kind of will talk about the same author all together. So obviously, oh no, it's not obvious, but anyways, I started the Kingmaker series this month. So I read The Heir by Sophie Lark. This is the first book in this series, and this is a spinoff of the Brutal Birthright series, and it follows the kids of that series. So this book is about Leo and Anna. It's childhood best friends and lovers. I think Anna is like the daughter of the people from Stolen Heir, and Leo is the son of Sebastian and Yelena. I think their book is Heavy Crown, I'm pretty sure, but this book was really good. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I think it was a strong start. You just got introduced to Kingmakers, which is the university that they're staying at. It's basically a college for mafia people. Like, they learn how to kill people. They learn how to be sneaky. They learn how to be like the kings of the mafia. I don't really know, but I thought this was really good. I thought this was a really interesting plot, and I'm usually not the biggest fan of Sophie Lark books, but I really liked this one. And this one was like love triangle because like you had stuff with Dean, which is like a little sneak peek. But anyways, I really liked this book. I moved on to the next book in the series, and I read The Rebel. So this book follows Zoe and Miles. Miles is the son of Ada and Callum. They're from Brutal Prince. And so this one was, it was like forbidden because Zoe she's been like already promised, like engaged to this other dude, but he's like a really bad guy. Like, he sucks. And Miles is like, I want her. He ain't gonna have her. So, you know, it's forbidden. It's very good. I really like this one. I give this one 4.25 stars. I'm pretty sure I really like this one. And then I read another Sophie Lark book. I went into the Underworld series because after reading The Rebel, you have to read Ivan Snow before you like continue on and read the rest. We don't really have to, but like it's recommended. So I read Ivan. This one was really quick. It was like kind of captive, but like it was like very different because the main girl, Sloane, she's like a hit girl. Can't really say hitman because she's a girl. She's a hit girl, and she was set to kill Ivan, like this big mafia boss. Like, this is like the biggest job she's ever had. So she's like, oh, this is gonna be really hard. So she goes to try to kill him, and he wakes up and he's like, So they like fight, and then he finds out that she's a girl, and he's like, whoa, you almost killed me. So then the romance goes from there. It's very quick. That's the thing about Sophie Lark's books. They're very, very fast. They're very like fast paced. So if you're really into that, I think you'll like it. I gave it 3.75 stars just because of the fact that since it was so quick, like I didn't even get invested in the romance. And that's like my only pet peeve with Sophie Lark books. I think she's doing a better job at that with Kingmakers. Gosh, I almost died. So anyways, the next book I read was How to Lose at Love. I read this book out on a whim. I don't know where I found this, but I read it on the whim. It was fake dating, like sports romance, and I was like, okay, I need like something light and fluffy, like fake dating. I really love that trope. I gave this book 2 stars. I thought it was horrible. The pacing was bad. It just, what? Their connection wasn't there. I just wasn't convinced that these two should have been together. It was stupid. And the girl, oh my god, she pissed me off. Like, the third eye breakup was so dumb because she just wouldn't listen to him. Like, and I hate, my main pet peeve in a book is when the main girl just believes the worst out of the guy that she's literally dating. Like, I don't care if someone set him up or made him look like he was cheating. If you are in love with this dude, you're so caught in love with this person, why would you just believe anything someone says or anything someone shows you? I don't know if that just spoiled the book, but don't read it. So I don't really care. Just don't read it. And then the next book I read was a new Devney Perry release, and it was Coach. I really like her books. They're just like easy reads. They're like small town. They're just nice vibes. I really like her books. I mean, as you can see, I have her books up here. So I gave this book like 3 stars. That's not bad, but like I just didn't really connect to the characters like that. It was quick, it was fun, it was single dad, it was kind of second chance, kind of not. I thought it was good. I think it's like a good in-betweener read. It's like you don't think about it too much, but I thought it was decent. Then I read Deviant King by Rena Kent. I really like Rena Kent's books. I really love her Legacies of God series. That one's set in college. I was going to skip this series completely, but a lot of people were raving about it, so I read this book. It was okay. I mean, I gave it like 3 stars. It was very, like, the writing was very easy. It was very easy to get into, but like I wasn't obsessed with it, you know? Like, just the high school bully thing, I just can't really do. Like, high school books, I can't really read them anymore. They're just kind of okay, especially when it's like bully. I'm just like, I don't care. Like, why this dude rule this? He's like 18. What? Like, why are we scared of this little 18-year-old boy? I just don't understand. So that book I didn't really care about. And then this next book is a DNF technically, because I didn't finish it, but I read enough of it to talk about it, and I want to talk about it because a lot of people love this book, and I DNF'd it at like 80-something%. So I was almost done with the book, but I just couldn't read anymore. So the book I'm talking about is Hush Hush by Lucia Franco, and I did not love this book. It was age gap, like very age gap, very forbidden. I think she's like early 20s, kind of same situation with Highest Bidder, but I liked Highest Bidder more. Like, it was early 20s. He was like 50-something. There's some twists and turns in this book. It's very, very dramatic, like super drama filled, but not enough for me to be obsessed with it. It just had unnecessary plot lines. I don't even want to say some of them because I think it's a spoiler, but it had unnecessary plot lines that I really disliked. And if you read the book, you'll know. I mean, some people love that, but I don't like it when it's just unnecessary. Like, it was so unnecessary and just dumb. But the premise behind this book, basically, the main girl, she's struggling. She has no money. She has to take care of her grandmother, and she's in college, and her friend is like, I'm a shop girl, you know, I make all this money, la la la. So, and she's like, oh, you should do it too. So they like go to her job, and like she finds out more about her job, and she finally fesses up, and she tells her, hey, I'm not really a shop girl, I lied, I'm actually an escort. And she's like, you know, you'll be perfect for this job because like you like one night stands, you could totally do it, you don't care. So she's like, escort, I can never do that, I can never like have sex for money. And then she goes and does it. So basically she becomes an escort, and one of her clients is this like older man. He's like in his 50s, he's older, and they start to form feelings for each other, which is like a no for that job. There's so much more to it that I just didn't like, and I can't really talk about it because it will spoil what happens in the book, but all I can say is that I didn't like the rest of the book. So I think that's it. I think that was all the books I read this month. It was an okay month. I think I liked a good amount, but I didn't love enough. There was no 5-star reads, which is sad, but hopefully that will happen this month. And if you like this video, and if you liked me ranting about books, subscribe, like this video, comment, you know, tell me if you hated these books or if you love them. Argue with me, I don't really care. I love to argue about books. It's my favorite pastime. And, you know, follow me on my socials. I don't post a lot, but I'm trying to post more, so follow me. Nights, I don't really know when this is gonna be out, so have fun, I guess. Peace.